Hello. Welcome to Quaint and Cozy KC. We are on episode 10 of the second season. Can you believe it? It is episode 10 of the second season. And today I'm going to talk to you about some highlights of my life, but also some really cool things I'm discovering. So I have not worked downtown since 2019, right? And a lot has changed as to be expected. So I'm back working downtown for a few months. And at first I was like, okay, I got to go back into the office. So I was a little like, okay, that could be something new and different because I haven't been in the office since 2021. But guess what, you guys, I'm having so much fun coming back into the office every day. I'm like doing 5 days a week for now. And because there's some really cool things, because I'm working in downtown Kansas City, really cool little lunch spots that were not there when I was last there in 2019 in Kansas City, in downtown Kansas City. So I discovered this place on the first day. My coworkers took me out to the place called Banksia, and it's like an Australian kind of like sandwich shop, like bakery vibe, and it is so good. And it was so good that I was like, oh wow, I can just like take a picture of this stuff. And I did warn my coworkers, I'm like, I do take pictures of my food. They're like, oh, that's fine. Y'all, I was so hungry and it looked so good. I just was shoveling that in my mouth and I was like, oh man. So the only thing I managed to take a picture of at the time was the package of potato chips that I opted for as my sides, these Maui onion potato chips. So I've got to go back there. Needless to say, I will go back there. And then I discovered there's a Strang Hall downtown. It's smaller. It's not as big as the one in downtown Overland Park, but I love it. There's a lot of things that you can choose from. Like they have pho, they have like a Cuban sandwich, they have smash burgers, they have all these things. I loved it. I wasn't super hungry because I did do kind of a later breakfast. So I went ahead and I just kind of kept it really, really simple. I actually got some crab rangoon and they had this really lovely sweet and sour sauce that they served with it. It was so good. And I'm going to be actually reviewing and, posting pictures and all that stuff, but I'll be reviewing that, that meal that I had. A really simple little lunch, and I love the vibe. And then also there's like this art gallery kind of attached to the Strang Hall. Like you walk into the doors and you can see I'm like, wow, there's a gallery and people kind of sit and they eat their lunch, and it's really contemplative kind of place, which I totally appreciate. I saw people working. I saw people just like taking it in. And I thought, what a lovely place just to go on a break or, to go during a lunch and just sit there and just decompress and look at all the great art that's there. Unfortunately, on Friday, I didn't have a lot of time to kind of peruse, but I definitely am adding that to my list of things to do while I'm down there. I did tell somebody I felt a little like Mary Tyler Moore, even though she was in Minneapolis throwing her hat up. I was born in the Twin Cities, St. Louis Park, which is a suburb of Minneapolis. And, for the first 4 years of my life, I lived in the neighborhood, the Lake Nokomis neighborhood. So, I am a Minnesotan here, kind of. And then I went back and lived there after I graduated from college. So I would say I'm Minnesota adjacent, because if you talk to a Minnesotan, they'll be like, oh, no, you weren't raised here. So you're not, you were born here, but you weren't raised here. So you're not a true Minnesotan. You're kind of like Minnesotan adjacent. So I'm just going to go with that. I am Minnesotan adjacent. That's what I am. And then also another great rediscovery is Cosentino's. I love that market, and it's pretty, they've got a lot of variety. And so what I realized was I'm bringing salads to lunch, but sometimes the salad does not hit the spot. But you can go to their deli. They've got like one of those hot delis, and you can get a couple small containers of like mac and cheese, or they have other things, a lot of things like fries. And I got mac and cheese and mashed potatoes, and then I had like my salad, my pepperoni salad, and it hit the spot. I was full all day. I did not feel munchy or crunchy or anything like that. It was amazing. So again, I really love, I really appreciate how, having a market, and that really does make a difference. I'm not going to go on a rant about how I think grocery stores should be a little bit more accessible for people and whatever, but it is very convenient having that, to walk to when you're working in downtown Kansas City. So the next thing that I did this weekend was I went to Harrisonville, Missouri for the first time. And when I say that, I've stopped there, but I'm talking about I went and I explored the downtown because I wanted to go to the farmer's market because I hadn't obviously been there. And I love a good downtown. I'm always going, oh my gosh, downtown. Now it was a little hot yesterday. It was a little steamy. It's not as steamy as it has been, but it was a little steamy. And so, hello, Mia. And so, I was like, I wanted to talk to people, talk to the vendors, but at the same time, when you're doing this and you're trying to line up interviews and everything, you don't want to, distract them because they're there to make money. Okay. They're there to get their stuff seen. So you got to understand they're working. So I was able to, yes, it was not cute yesterday at all, Mia. I wanted to be able to kind of like reach out to them in a way and connect with them without messing up their sales. So I was able to do that because it's not a super huge farmer's market as far as vendors, but there's a lot of great vendors there. And and there was a lot of people there. I was very surprised. And they were saying, oh, you know what? It is, actually it's not as crowded as it usually is. And I was like, okay, back to school, Chiefs had a preseason game. People are just running around trying to make it right now, but they still had a pretty good crowd. I loved it. It's one of those places you go because it's in the downtown Harrison Square. And I love a square because downtown Liberty has a square. And so yeah, I mean, it's great. There's a courthouse. There's all these things to see. So this is what I would say to do. There's some breakfast places. Now I didn't get to everything because technically, which one I went to? I went to Harrison, the Harrisonville Farmers and Artists Market. That's where I went to. Yeah, well, KC. So that's where I went to yesterday. And then, so, it's got a square. So what I would say to do, and I was running errands for my mom who lives in Lee Summit. That's not super far away, but I was like, oh man, my time's getting away from me as I'm kind of slowly perusing. I'm like, I gotta pick up some speed here. So I wasn't able to kind of really traipse, like do a really good traipsing. I'll probably do that maybe because their farmers market lasts, I think, until October, sometime through October. So, I think I can traipse a little bit better later next month when it's not so hot. But there are some breakfast places there. So if it were me, what I would do is I'd go there. I would go have like a nice little breakfast, a cute breakfast. There's a lot of parking on the street and everything like that. I would have a nice little breakfast. Then I would saunter on down to the farmer's market and get stuff because they had a lot of bread. There's a lot of bread that was there, notably Good Loaf. I think it's Sam Essler. I just met her yesterday because we have all these mutual friends. And so I was like, okay, I got to try this because I kept seeing this good looking bread coming through my feed, people sharing her Facebook page, Good Loaf. And so I was like, okay, I got to go try this bread. So I have some and I'm going to be cutting it and I'll post pictures. I'm going to do like a Midwestern bruschetta. What is that? That's, we're in the Midwest and I'm not probably going to make anything authentic with it, but I do have some leftover veggies, including some basil and some tomatoes and a little bit of balsamic. So I'm just going to see what I can do. Maybe saute those vegetables down a little bit, see what I can do. And then I also have to go out and get some chicken. I actually have some chicken on the bone that I can still use. So I might be able to chop that up finally, do some kind of bruschetta chicken and cheese sandwich. We'll see. Because, I'm all about safely shelf cooking. Like, don't be trying to use chicken that's been in your refrigerator for 3 weeks. Come on, that's not saving money. That's a trip to the hospital and that's kind of expensive. Okay? No judgment, but just keep that in mind. So that's what I would do to go back to Harrisonville Farmers Market. That's what I would do. I would just go to that cute breakfast spot and get some things from the farmers market. They had a lot of crafts, macrame. I'm a kid of the 70s and 80s. I'm like, okay, they had some macrame. Come through. And really nice things for plants. They had some really great smelling soaps, and all the people seemed really agreeable to possibly be featured on either Quaint and Cozy KC if they're a maker, or Aunt Lainey's Kitchen if they're like any kind of like food person. So that was really hopeful and exciting for me. And then also, that's what I would do. And then after you're done with the farmer's market, just kind of walk around a little bit, look at some of the cute shops, take pictures of the cute shops. There's also like some kind of winery thing, like a wine shop or something down there as well. So I'm like, again, take all that stuff in there, maybe have a quick little glass or something. And they have like a charcuterie board. I don't know. I mean, it's all up to you how you do it, but it's definitely an experience. And as I always say, no matter where you're at, if you're in the Kansas City area or you're not, you're in another city, there are cute little downtowns that are great to go to in the daytime. If you don't want to drive far or anything like that, at night, you go in there, do like a breakfast day trip. Then, maybe if you're feeling like, oh, hey, this is so much fun. Let's get lunch here too, whatever, or come in for like, like an early lunch, an 11 a.m. lunch, go in, eat, walk around the shops, because sometimes I know on Saturdays things might close, at 4 or 5 or something like that downtown. But yes, do all that, do all the things downtown, and you'll feel like you're in this nice little touristy town, and you really only went like 25 miles down the road, right? That's what we're all about, the quaint and cozy life. Sometimes it happens in Newport, Rhode Island, where I used to live, or Culver City in Los Angeles. Other times it happens, in Harrisonville, Missouri, or downtown Lee Summit. And yes, have I been to the Thursday night market in Mission? I have. And actually one of the first people that I interviewed was the market manager from Mission. So yes, I love that. So when I first moved to Mission, that's the first place I moved when I was here. I actually lived right by the Mission market, and it was on Saturdays. And I would like go down there, I'd get all my stuff, and then I'd run over to the Overland Park one at the time, because it was bigger, but not as big as it is now. Now I'm like, okay, I see you, Overland Park. But it is super cute. I haven't been this year, and that's on my list because I know I'm running out of time. So that's on my list to kind of like knock that out to get to the Mission Market before it ends for the season. But yeah, I mean, I cannot wait to, I'm kind of looking at maybe this Thursday, hopefully weather holds out. Since I am working downtown, I can just kind of like jet on over there. But I'm just really, really super excited, just because it's grown so much. I know last year I went to, oh yay! I know it looks so much fun, like a fun activity. Yes, fingers crossed for that. Yeah, I love it. Last year I went to a brewery in Mission, and the name is escaping me. And they did like a, and it was like, I think in maybe September, they did some kind of like Mission Market thing over there. It was like a kind of a smaller thing. Oh my God, I think I got the best like sugar cookies over there. It was so amazing. And so, yeah, but I definitely want to do this. Last year, I always say it, if you've been listening, you're like, oh my gosh, here she goes again. I went to like 20 farmers markets last year, and I thought, oh, I'm gonna go to 20 farmers market, Kansas City, how big can it be? Y'all, I ended up having to go, okay, I 20, and there's more to go. There's like more to go. So yeah, that's, it's one of those things where you're just kind of like, well, okay, I'm just gonna, just next year. And even now, so what I tried to do was, I did go to Gladstone again. I did go to Liberty. And so I did go to the Liberty one again. And then I am also, probably going to visit Lee Summit, because that's kind of like where my family lives. And so as a result, doing that, then this year I went to Bonner Springs for the first time. QCK, I believe I'd been to that a long time ago, but I went back. I have gone to Leavenworth, another cute downtown in Harrisonville. I'm looking at Excelsior Springs, and I'm looking at Raytown has one as well. So again, I'm just trying to hit every one here, and it is not easy. And I can't even tell you that I have not been able to hit the, I have not been able to like hit the ones that are on Wednesdays and Thursdays, the weeknight ones. It's because, working downtown, it can just be a little bit trickier trying to like, when you get off work and then just heading straight to Smithville or something like that. And so I'm like, okay, next year. Oh, next year. Yeah, Excelsior Springs looks so cute. So like for like a nice daytime trip, I'm very excited to be able to do that. So yes, that's like my farmer's market thing. And so I did that, and I went, helped my mom and Lisa, and came back, and I had a ladies' night birthday party in Liberty at Rancho Grande Cantina. And that's kind of like where we go. So a few years ago, it was like 2021, and, the pandemic, and, it was kind of like, I don't want to say it's winding down. That's a whole other thing, but like they were lifting restrictions. And so we were all in this social group, these girls, and we were all kind of into astrology, tarot, like all that kind of stuff. And so we were in a group, we're like, oh, hey, we're going to be here. So I just met all these great girls, one I already kind of knew. And so we've been friends ever since. And we, for a long time, before life got crazy for us again, we were able to do like a Friday night, like every other Friday night, ladies' night, or it was every Friday for a while. And then it went to every other Friday. Then it went to once a month. And now it's kind of like, okay, we kind of got to schedule it around people having their kids and all that other stuff. And so, yes, Quaint and Cozy KC, woo, woo. Yes, you have definitely found your people. So we kind of do that. And I just kind of like, I'm like, oh wow. So we had a birthday last night and it was so much fun. It was a little bit later, but it was so much fun. And oh wow, yeah, the energy is really crazy right now. So yes. So yeah, I definitely, we had a lot of fun and we were talking about it. I'm like, you guys, I need to have you on my podcast and we need to do like ladies night and just like talk and you know, whatever Quaint and Cozy KC things we like to do, because you know, in our group chat, we always have some kind of thing. Hey, do you want to go do this? Hey, and sometimes our schedules make it or we can. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's more like, hey, I'm going to be here if you guys want to come and join me. But we're all in kind of in that quaint and cozy lifestyle. And so yeah, definitely so important. I think especially now just to really connect with people, and you can really do that over the quaint and cozy things in life. And one of the great conversations I was having in Harrisonville yesterday was the fact that I wanted to be able to like you know, connect with people, and we were talking about how crafts and cooking, all the good stuff, really connects you. I was telling them stories like my dad's mother was a gardener and she liked to cook and she's very active in her church. And sometimes she'd send us out there to like pick things out of the garden, and then she'd have her window open and she'd be like, and she wore ruby red lipstick to the Bible study. And I was 9 going, ooh, that's a scandal. I have no idea why that's a scandal, but it's a scandal. And everybody was laughing because then they kind of traded their own stories of those scandalous things and whatever. And so, you know, again, so you get to talk to people in those sewing circles. You get to like when you're cooking, you're learning all that stuff. There's such a connection when you do that. Even when if you can't cook very well, even if you're sharing, just like, even when you're kind of sharing just kind of like the best parts of eating or meals or just talking about it. In fact, right now I have got this flavored water that I got from Hy-Vee. It's like mixed berry. And I got I got a mint plant. So I got a basil and mint plant, and I feel like I have another plant that I bought. I'm just gonna go like that. See, I think I got that, and I feel like I got a rosemary plant as well. And so I was like, you know, using fresh mint, there's something about it. It makes you feel like a very luxurious lady. And I'm thinking to myself, am I in a garden right now? Because I just clipped off a little bit of mint just to put in and to put into this like, you know, flavored water drink. That's what I did. I was feeling kind of like, you know, barefoot Contessa-ish today. And that's what I did. And again, it's just a simple touch like that just kind of makes you kind of feel that. So yes, definitely. I definitely felt like, you know, it kind of felt like something. I'm kind of stumbling over this because there's so many different ways to describe it, but I definitely feel like, yes, the mint is taking over. Yeah, I love it in my iced tea. I love it in things, but I love having that fresh kind of herbs. Now I'll use some dried herbs in a minute. Okay, I don't judge people. You just use what you got. But if you've got something fresh, it does feel amazing. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so some things I'm doing, some other quaint and cozy things that I'm doing is the MCPL, the Mid-Continent Public Library. They have those classes. They have classes in person, then they have Zoom classes. You guys are sleeping on this. There's so much great information. I know that a lot of times those Zoom classes are happening in the evening, and if you've got kids or families, it can be a little bit more challenging to do. But if you've got a free night to listen to some of these lectures, like I'm gonna do marketing for storytellers. I'm gonna attend to that one. And then I'm actually gonna go into the Culinary Center next week for a coconut rice from around the world class. So I think I'm actually gonna be cooking in that Culinary Center. So I'm very excited. Because some of these classes, y'all, it is brutal how much you are, it's brutal how much you are able to, like, you know, you got to wait. Like I mean, it gets competitive. Now, listen, I lived in Los Angeles. I lived in New England. I know, yes, renew that library card. You got to do that. So I know it can get competitive for like spots. But I was very surprised in Kansas City it could get that competitive for cooking spots. So, I mean, I've been trying to get in for a while, and finally, coconut rice, I'm able to do this. I'm very excited about that. Now, I'm going to wrap up the show here and talk about a little bit about Aunt Lainey's Kitchen. So if you guys haven't heard or haven't been listening, you can go to Aunt Lainey's Kitchen. I'm on Spotify. I'm on iHeart. You can go to AuntLainey'skitchen.com and just access the episodes there. as I publish an episode there, I just go ahead and do its own separate post for that. I will be doing that for Quaint and Cozy KC, but I have a lot of archives to go through. I'm going to be honest with you. That's going to be a rainy night or like an evening where I have a couple hours to spare, and I'll be doing that as well. Something also about the Quaint and Cozy KC life. Yes, I'm so glad you did too. Something else about the Quaint and Cozy KC life is once you kind of embrace it, and this is Quaint and Cozy just in general, and you really decide, hey, you know what? I might live in Kansas City. I might live in small town, wherever, or like a smaller city, whatever. If you're in a small town, there's usually like a surrounding town maybe you can go to and do all the fun stuff. But like once you embrace that life, there's so much to do. Like before, when I moved here from New England, like there's just like not a lot to do. There's not like whatever. My mom would always challenge that when I would say that. And so yeah, she would always challenge me when I would say that, but she'd be like, we've got museums, we've got everything, but we don't have oceans and mountains. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, but then I just really just started digging in, and I'm like, these cute little museums. And yes, people do sleep on KC a lot. Yeah, there's a lot they sleep on. And so I just started digging into the museums, to the farmers market life, to the cute little bookshops, like all those things, the tea shops. There's all these things. And then I thought, you know, my house, making it more quaint and cozy and more, you know, like, so when I am here, when it's colder and it's hard to get outside, I'm not sitting there going, I mean, it's cute, but it doesn't feel cozy and warm. And also balancing cozy and warm with not getting super cluttered, right? That's also, even if you're not a clutter bug, you can turn into a clutter bug with all the little knick-knack, paddywhack stuff that is always on sale and everything like that. So that's what Pinterest is for. Like, I feel like my Pinterest board is like, that's where I'm vicariously living through my Pinterest board. And I need to start probably updating Pinterest. My thing with Pinterest is that I only really start hitting it when the weather's bad, or like it's like a long winter, or if I'm on vacation and we're like taking a break, I'm like, oh, Pinterest. So I'll Pinterest for like 45 minutes, but I probably only get on Pinterest 5 or 6 times a year, but I love it because there's always something new. Or if there's something that I'm like, I kind of want to get interested in that, I'll start a quick Pinterest board or start following Pinterest boards just so, you know, it's kind of like a nice little marker. Okay, I have to give a quick shout out to Belger. It's our local ceramic studio gallery. Now where's that at? Belger, where is that at? I don't know if I've heard of that. So an interest in making ceramics. I am not good at that kind of stuff, but I know a lot of my friends are. A lot of people are very interested in that. And yeah, having a ceramic studio, my best friend actually is in Indiana, and she loves ceramics and all things about that. She loves ceramics and pottery and all that stuff. But yes, no, definitely it's got a quaint and cozy vibe to it. And definitely in KC, there's so many places to kind of like explore that kind of artistic thing. And there's also, oh, okay, I love it so much. Crossroads area, most chill first Friday ever. Yes, I love that. There's also great places to learn how to sew, and some cooking places, like all this stuff. And I have people I have in mind, but everyone lives in different parts of the city. So this is what I would say. I would say Google that and Google the area near you and figure out what you're willing to do. Because sometimes we're like, yeah, I'm going to drive 40 minutes to do this every week. And are you going to do that? Are you going to be able to do that? So you want to make sure whatever you do, you can sustain it, because when you can't sustain it, that makes you sadder than if it didn't exist in the first place. Because you're like, it's over there, but I don't have time, or I can't, you know, spare the time it's going to take. So, or maybe instead of making it a weekly thing, maybe it's something you try to do once a month. You know, again, just, you got to fit it into your lifestyle, however you can do that, because otherwise it just seems really sad and it seems out of your reach. So yeah. Okay. And now going back to the calendar thing, I have got to get a paper calendar, and because I was the last person to start using the Google Calendar thing. I fought that. I was like, no, I like to write things down because it's muscle memory. Then I was like, I'm tired. I can't, I just got to press the buttons. But now with everything going on, I am going to have to get one of those calendars that I carry with me to like start notating, so that I kind of know what to put in my Google Calendar. I'm going to have to start doing the 2 system, right? I don't want to call it the device, but like the 2 system way to do these things, because otherwise I'm going to like miss out. I've been really lucky. I've been able to catch certain things, but with working outside my home right now, I'm definitely, it's not a struggle bus that I'm on, but I am definitely like feeling that, right? I'm just kind of like feeling a bit of the struggle there. Okay, so that is all I have for this episode of Quaint and Cozy KC. If you are a maker or know a maker that wants to be interviewed on Quaint and Cozy KC, please, go to my Facebook page. Probably the best way to get a hold of me, the fastest way, go to my Facebook page. I also have my website, quaintandcozykc.com, and I've got quaintandcozyKC@gmail.com. But again, Facebook is the fastest way to get a response from me. And then, we can talk about it. The interviews are very simple. It's like, I'm going to ask you 10 questions. I don't get personal because I've always believed when you get personal, you are probably going to get subpoenaed for something. And I am not trying to get subpoenaed for anything. So it's not going to be personal. Just about, it might be like, when did you start learning how to do this? And when did it catch your eye? And that's about it. So we just talk about the art and any upcoming things that you have. It's very simple, maybe 20 minutes. Now, some of my interviews that I've done for Aunt Lanie's Kitchen, like we just start vibing and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're at the 35-minute mark. We got to stop this interview. We got to come back when you got something else going on. So that way we're not talking for an hour and 20 minutes because sometimes you forget that you're interviewing. Sometimes you vibe so well with a guest or an interviewer that you're like, oh, and it's like 2 hours later. So you have to be very, very, careful with that. And also I'm always like, you can always come back. And of course, with Aunt Lanie's Kitchen, I'm trying to get a panel together for, people to review, like maybe, I don't know, once a month or every other. I don't know how we're going to do it because everyone's schedule's so crazy, but I want to do that. But I also was looking at that for Quaint and Cozy KC because there's all these quaint and cozy places to go. And maybe a couple people want to get on a Zoom call with me for like 20 minutes and talk about kind of what they're doing, the Quaint and Cozy KC things they're doing, right now, and some things that maybe we don't know about. Like one of the things I regret not knowing about is how many little cute local museums there are in the Kansas City area. So I'm going to, that's kind of on that's a quest list that I have during the colder months, is to kind of try to find out more about some of these local museums. And on that note, thank you so much, you guys. I will talk to you soon and I can't wait. Next week, the plan is I'm going to revisit the Liberty Farmers Market. And then I am going to go to my coconut rice class. And that's pretty much what I've got going on. And then all the other stuff for like, getting interviews set up and all those things. And one of the things that's like, as I say, we're wrapping up, are we? One of the things that's been challenging is keeping my social life going outside of Quaint and Cozy KC things and doing this. But it's all a labor of love and I'm having so much fun. And my friends are very understanding. They're always willing to join me on a Quaint and Cozy KC adventure. So that's always good. Okay, take care, everyone. And I will talk to you soon.